Thanks for joining us here on World Tech Update. I'm Nick Barber. Coming up on this week's show, a big change at Apple, a robot awakens in space, and there will soon be more than just passengers using iPads on airplanes. We'll start this week, though, with Apple and CEO Steve Jobs, who announced his resignation from the company Wednesday night. Tim Cook, Apple's COO, and the man who's been running the company in Jobs' absence, will take the helm. In a letter to Apple employees, Jobs wrote, "I have always said if there ever came a day when I could no longer meet my duties and expectations as Apple's CEO, I would be the first to let you know. Unfortunately, that day has come. I believe Apple's brightest and most innovative days are ahead of it, and I look forward to watching and contributing to its success in a new role." Jobs was immediately elected chairman of Apple's board and will continue to serve with his unique insights, creativity, and inspiration, wrote a fellow board member. Jobs has wrestled with cancer in recent years and has been on medical leave since January. Apple declined to comment further and will, of course, keep you posted. A Dutch court on Wednesday banned the shipping of 3 Samsung Galaxy smartphones to Europe as of October 13th. It ruled that the company has infringed on an Apple photo management patent. The judge denied all other grounds on which Apple tried to ban the import of Samsung products into Europe. The patent in violation is titled Portable Electronic Device for Photo Management and describes a way to scroll through a photo gallery using finger gestures on a touchscreen. Android 3.x that's used in tablets doesn't infringe on this patent. The patent issue can be fixed by updating the software on the phones to Android 3.x. Following HP's news that it will drop webOS and its touchpad, Microsoft is trying to lure developers to its platform. Microsoft has offered webOS developers free phones, tools, and training to create apps for its Windows Phone 7 platform. The senior director of the unit made the offer on Twitter late last week, and by the end of the day, he had received 500 emails from interested developers. With this action, Microsoft is hoping to capture talented developers who have had to abandon webOS and get them before they move to develop for Android. Verizon Wireless has announced another batch of cities that will get its 4G LTE service. 25 cities, mainly in the Midwest, will get this service on September 15th. This could be in preparation for the iPhone 5 that is rumored to support 4G LTE. Several smartphones, such as the Droid Charge, already support the high-speed mobile service. Verizon declined to comment on speculation in regards to the iPhone 5. Google has agreed to pay $500 million to settle allegations from the U.S. government that it let online pharmacies in Canada use its AdWords system to advertise prescription drugs to U.S. consumers. According to the Department of Justice, Google became aware as early as 2003 that the shipment of prescription drugs from abroad to U.S. residents is usually illegal, potentially violating several statutes. Yet Google didn't attempt to modify its practices until 2009, after it became aware that it was being investigated by the U.S. government. As part of the settlement, Google admits to improperly assisting Canadian online pharmacy advertisers on running ads to target U.S. consumers via AdWords. The humanoid robot Robonaut 2 has been brought to life aboard the International Space Station. Space Station engineers assembled the robot and powered it up for the first time after almost 6 months since it was flown up by the Space Shuttle Discovery. According to NASA, the astronauts have run a test of its electronics, focusing on the thermal response sensors in its joints. So far, the diagnosis has been positive. On September 1st, the station crew plans to begin leading R2 through its first movements in orbit. NASA hopes by the end of the year to ship leg attachments to be attached to Robonaut 2, giving it more mobility around the orbiter and upgrades for R2 to go outside into the vacuum of space. Even though R2 is a robot, it's taken on a life of its own as a regular tweeter with 40,000 followers. Questions and comments can be sent to Robonaut 2 and its team via Twitter at AstroRobonaut. Research in Motion is testing a cloud-based music service around its BlackBerry Messenger that it plans to offer commercially later this year. A closed beta trial of the BBM music service started Thursday in Canada, the US, and the UK. The service is expected to be available later this year for a monthly subscription of about $5 in 18 countries in Europe, Asia, and North America. The service won't be available on RIM's Playbook since it doesn't have BBM. Users will be able to refresh their profile and swap up to 25 songs each month, besides being allowed to share playlists or single songs with other users who are part of the program. United has announced that airline cockpits will be using the iPad to go paperless. It will be distributing 11,000 iPads to pilots to replace bulky paper navigation charts. United will use the new Jeppesen Mobile FD application to save on average 12,000 sheets of paper during flights. Due to the reduction in weight, this will also be saving hundreds of thousands of gallons of jet fuel each year. Paper charts will still be needed when electronic devices must be turned off below 10,000 feet. New fixtures in Boston and a number of cities worldwide are helping residents get around easier and faster without having to hail a cab or search for parking. In Boston, Hubway bicycles can be rented by the hour and located using the app Spotsicle. The free app will show you the 10 closest stations using your phone's GPS and how many bikes are available. It'll also give you a map view of where stations are. That could be useful if you're renting a bike at one station and planning on returning it to another, which is allowed in Boston. The app doesn't let you reserve or pay for bikes. You'll need to do that at the station. In addition to Boston, the app also services London, Melbourne, Minneapolis, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and Washington, D.C. The app's available now for free on Android, BlackBerry, and iPhones. Well, that's our show for this week. Thanks for joining us here on World Tech Update. Next week, I'll be at IFA in Berlin covering all the latest consumer electronics. It's one of my favorite trade shows of the year, so be sure to tune in. To find out what's coming up, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Nick Barber, and for all of us here at the IDG News Service, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week in Germany.